Okay, we're recording now. So do you view the transition to a low carbon economy as an important area of investment for New Zealand?
Oh, it's vital. We're at peak oil now since 2006. The amount of money we're going to pay for oil is simply going to go up and up and up, and that's going to hurt our balance of payments. And we need to also change to a low carbon economy because of climate change. These are two facts which happen to coincide, and if we don't do it voluntarily, it's going to be forced upon us. We're going to have to do it. So why not do it in a controlled fashion?
Cool. So how can our government promote the research and development and deployment of new green technologies and sustainable practices?
Well, we need to set policies and goals. So, for instance, what we can do is say that there should be a certain amount of biofuels produced, and that will force technological innovation. We can set policies in place to reduce emissions and to make energy efficiency something that businesses have to achieve, and that way we can, we just promote the whole culture of efficiency and low carbon technology.
Cool. In your opinion, is the ETS an equitable system which delivers the right economic signals and incentives at the moment to emitters?
It's not the best system in the world, but at the moment, the way it's structured, no, it's definitely not delivering what it's meant to do. If it was fair and everyone's paying their fair share right now, for instance, the agricultural sector and the other sectors that are being exempted, then yes, it could be fair and it could be actually quite a good system. But at the moment, because of our main emitter of greenhouse gases is exempted, and they're actually being subsidised by everyone else, so effectively we're giving a subsidy to it.
So to paraphrase what we said earlier, in terms of the changes you believe need to be made to the ETS, I think you said earlier to get rid of the subsidies.
Yes.
To get rid of the subsidies and also the delayed phasing in, just to bring all industries in right now.
Everyone has come on board straight away. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't help people coming in, but help key industries, but everyone needs to pay straight away.
Cool. What are your opinions on expanding our country's fossil fuel industries?
We shouldn't be expanding, we should be contracting the fossil fuel industries. There's only one or two acceptable uses for fossil fuels, aviation perhaps, and making steel production.
Yeah.
But apart from that, we should be switching technologies. We need to switch technologies now. The countries that lead the way in this will have a competitive advantage, both for developing, for selling intellectual technology, intellectual knowledge, but also, by leading the way, morally and ethically.
So would you support a moratorium on coal, lignite and oil?
Yes.
New projects on them? Yeah,
totally.
Okay. What do you see as the main future sources of energy for New Zealand if we're not talking fossil fuels?
Well, this means extensive studies done, and essentially we can power our entire electricity generation through hydro, wind and geothermal. We also got extensive tidal and other hydro sources of energy, such as current flows through harbours and basins, that kind of thing. So wave technology. A lot of it's in its infancy, but if we can develop the technology really quickly and we actually become world leaders, then we can again sell that technology and the intellectual property overseas and become world leaders in that field.
Do you support the reallocation of spending on new roads towards low carbon and public transport initiatives such as light rail, which we discussed?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it makes no sense to build roads when we're in a situation of peak oil and we've got climate change. I mean, even by the ministry's own figures, the roads don't pay back themselves. And we've actually seen a recent decrease in the amount of road traffic. So we're actually building roads when there's actually decreasing amounts of traffic, and decrease is going to keep happening because oil's more expensive and people aren't going to be able to afford to travel by car.
Cool. How do you feel Dunedin South can best reduce its emissions as a community?
I think as a community it's quite difficult for Dunedin South to do something like that by itself. It needs to partner with the council, it needs to partner with the national government, it needs to, it needs to create groups. Things that we can do are, increase the number of bicycle lanes that we have. For instance, the saltwater pool now is having, the council is now putting heat pumps in to heat the water, so getting away from the LPG heaters that were there before. And we can promote public transport use and energy efficiency. So one of the big things that we could do is try and really promote insulating our homes and making them warmer and drier. So if we insulate our homes, and then your home use of energy is going to be reduced. Plus, it actually makes a huge amount of financial sense, because if you're not sitting in a cold, damp house, it means you're not going to get sick from cold and damp. I mean, it's a huge cost on our health service for people getting ill during the winter because they live in these cold, damp houses. So meeting energy efficiencies and making it more efficient to live at home. That's a couple of the key things we could do to need south.
Cool. Do you think that New Zealand's current position on climate change is acceptable?
No, it's not acceptable.
And what role should our government play to ensure that our domestic and international commitments on climate change are met in the future?
The government's key to meeting our needs and our obligations. The government needs to put in place regulations and laws to enforce and to encourage energy efficiency and reducing our carbon emissions. It's really the whole of New Zealand has to come together to do this, and it has to be something that we as a nation and as communities within that nation have to do together.